Hi there, it's me, Annalise Boyd, Orthodox Christian wife, mom to 8, bread baker, candy maker, self-proclaimed doula, accidental midwife, and the author of the Ascetic Lives of Mothers, Hear Me, and Special Agents of Christ, all through Ancient Faith Publishing. Now, today I wanted to talk about Christmas. It's October. Why am I talking about Christmas? Because we all know that Christmas really, really, really is just around the corner. So I am going to be doing a couple videos on different things I think might be beneficial for as gifts and things like that from different places. But this one is just about Christmas in general. Well, not in general. It's kind of specific. I've seen a number of moms write things because they're concerned about Christmas gifts. Do Christmas gifts at Christmas time take away from the meaning of Christmas? Are we falling into the trap of the commercialism of Christmas and doing our children a disservice and Christ a disservice by participating in it? Well, I wanted to share a little bit about my growing up years and how, and just kind of my perspective. Not that my perspective matters, but I'm going to share it nonetheless. And as always, check with your priest because he knows your family and what's going to be a stumbling block, what is going to be beneficial for your soul. So, disclaimer. But here's my experience. I, as I've said many times, was not raised Orthodox. And so we had some Protestant traditions that were not like the normal Protestant traditions. I never grew up believing in Santa Claus. I had never known that there was a Bishop Nicholas. And so that wasn't part of my experience either. But we didn't do Santa Claus and we didn't really do anything other than, there were cookies and certain things that were made every year only around Christmas time. But it was right before Christmas, after school was out. That was really the time that things started shifting because we would always go to the nighttime Christmas service and all the twinkly lights. Every Christmas on Christmas Eve, my grandparents would open their home, and I remember, putting olives on all my fingers, and that was the time that we had this little sweet pickles and things like that. But they opened their home to people in the community and at church, people who were new, people who might not be or have access to family for Christmas. And they opened their home and kind of enveloped them into our family. And I always thought that was great. I never thought of it as ministry. It was just something that we always did. And that was part of our tradition. And it was amazing to me because I remember a few Christmases where they didn't even know that they were going to have extra people on Christmas Day. And they bought a couple extra presents just in case. And I remember one time I had a friend with me and they had bought some random sweater. And when she, so she had something that she could open on Christmas morning and it fit. God knew she was coming. It was the most bizarre thing, but it was wonderful, wonderful. And then all through the growing up time, I remember that we would almost always make a birthday cake for Jesus and sing happy birthday. So the emphasis was always that it was Jesus's birthday. It was Jesus's birthday. I mean, yes, it was present time to some degree, but it was mostly Jesus's birthday. And it was kind of a bonus because we got some cool things on Jesus's birthday. I remember looking at the Sears catalog. This totally dates me. The giant Sears catalog that came out twice a year. And you had the one that came out near Christmas with all the cool toys. And we were allowed to circle anything that we wanted, understanding that we may or may not get one or two of those items because we didn't have money when I was growing up. So it's not like I was planning on anything big. But we might get one or two things. And it was exciting. So what I tried to do with my girls was emphasize that it was Jesus's birthday. And because it is such a special time and such a celebration, because hope came to the world, salvation had entered the world, but it was the precursor to the main event, which is Paska. So we would make tea on Christmas morning and have something to eat together, and then we'd start opening the presents. And there was always one of the kids or my brother or somebody was the person who would pass out the presents. And a present was given. We started with the youngest and went up to the oldest, and it was one at a time. So everybody participated in watching each person open a present in their turn, and we go from youngest to oldest and back around again until all the presents were gone. And it was just a peaceful, great time. There wasn't this big hype about diving into presents. So I think that's something we want to avoid. But I think it is not a negative thing to have presents at Christmas. I think we can enhance it even further by making sure that we are providing some things, not everything, not all of the presents, I don't think, but some presents maybe that are presented as something special, extra special, to encourage our children in the faith. That maybe it is a beautiful new cross, or maybe it is a nice, age-appropriate prayer rope or prayer book or something that is supposed to encourage them in the faith. And I think that because of what Christmas is, I think about Paska, and we have Lent, a Holy Week leading up to Paska, and it's very contemplative and solemn and holy. But then on Paska Day, Christ is risen, celebration, lots and lots of different kinds of foods that are only, we only have it at that time of year. Lots and lots of just celebrating and enjoying and laughing, and then we do it for a whole week after Paska, Bright Week, because it is that exciting and important. And I wouldn't think that providing all of those special treats would take away from the celebration that Paska is. It is a celebration. Jesus just conquered death and the grave, sin and death, right? And has bestowed life upon all humanity. He has brought salvation to the world, and it provided a way for us to be saved. In the same way, Christmas is so exciting because it's the beginning of the main event. And I think we can celebrate that as long as we make sure they understand it is Jesus's birthday. This is a celebration of his birth, which is so wonderful that we are sharing gifts with each other because we are so excited about that main event that's coming when we celebrate Paska. So I think there is a way to, we don't want to make it this, we never want to participate in gluttony of any kind, whether it is food, which I struggle with, whether it's food or gifts or pleasure or any of those things. We don't want to participate in glutting ourselves on anything. But I think we can be very tasteful and celebratory with Christmas without missing the point. And I think the church offers a lot of opportunities. We didn't have Advent. I know there are some traditions that celebrated Advent, but we never did. I'd never heard about Advent until we became Orthodox. And then that gave a great opportunity to have a focus every day until we made it to Christmas. So there's a lot that we can do to make sure we keep the focus on Christ. Anyway, that's just my perspective. Again, talk to your priest, see what his perspective is and what is going to be most beneficial for your family. But it is a wonderful, wonderful celebration. It is that important that it is such a big event because the God of the universe came to us humbly as an infant born in a stable, placed in straw, in a trough for our salvation. That is something worth celebrating. So let's keep working at our salvation, one mommy and daddy moment at a time. Thanks.